Hi everyone, it's Donna from Donna's Corn Free Cooking again, and today I'm going to share a recipe with you that I made up on my own because I used to go to Ruby Tuesdays and they made the most wonderful Cheddar Dill Biscuits. Of course, they weren't going to give anybody the recipe, but needing to be corn free, I decided to figure out my own recipe for this particular biscuit, and it's a drop biscuit and it's called Cheddar Dill Biscuits. Now, I came up with this when my husband had the flu really bad about 8 years ago, and I just took what I had in the kitchen and I made these biscuits to go with my tomato bisque soup, which I made from scratch, which we'll do that in another video. Now, these use my regular flour, my baking powder made with potato starch and baking soda, my sea salt, which has no corn in it, my dill weed, half a cup of sour cream, minced green onions, and 1.5 cups to 2 cups of grated cheddar, 1 egg, and half and half. So to start out with, I'm going to get my dry ingredients all together. And in this bowl, I've got 3 cups of flour. To that, I'm adding 4 teaspoons of this baking powder that I make. And you want to make sure you level it off as much as you can. And 1 teaspoon of sea salt. Now I'm going to give that a quick stir before I add the dill weed. And then on the dill weed, what we're going to add are 2 teaspoons. And I know in the last video for the potato salad, I used dill weed. I use it for a lot of things. It can be used in the place of salt if you're on a salt-free diet. And I just love the smell and the flavor of it. So I give that a good mix, like that. Then I'm going to I think I'm going to add the wet ingredients first, which is the sour cream, one egg, and about 1 cup to 1.5 cups of half and half. There's 1/2 cup and another 1/2 cup. And we'll see how that works. You want these to be kind of gooey because you don't need this dough or anything. You just drop it by spoonfuls onto your grease cookie sheets. Now it's going to need more. So I'm going to add another 1/2 cup. And we'll see how this is going to come out. Because you really want this to be gooey. You don't want it overmixed, and you don't want it stiff. So just a little bit more. And I think that'll just about do it. So you add like 1 cup to 1.5 cups. And if you really have a stiff dough, you add another 1/2 cup to make it a total of 2 cups. Okay. So I'm going to set this milk out of the way over here. Put the lid back on it. I always try to put everything back together so I can just put it away immediately. Okay. So now I'm going to add 3 minced green onions. And if you don't have green onions in the house, you could use regular onion that you've minced up. So I'm going to mix that in. And once that's done, then I'll add my last ingredient, which is the cheddar. And I've got 1.5 cups to 2 cups in there. This is what, the onion and the cheddar are what really make the biscuits. And this is a super quick recipe. And I love this recipe to use, especially when I make my chicken salad, because I am used to having tea parties and having friends over, and we have a regular high tea, just like they do in England. And I'll make these biscuits or make them into scones and serve them with chicken salad on them, and everybody just loves them. They are really super good. Okay, so I think I've got that mixed in fairly well. So now I'm going to set these over by the sink, pull up my cookie sheets as soon as I move everything, so it's out of my way. Okay. Now I'm going to trade places. I'm going to put my bowl there. Let me grab a paper towel. I got a little bit of a mess on my cutting board. And I love this big cutting board because I can put anything on it. And I use it mainly for display purposes rather than cutting purposes. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm taking a regular tablespoon and I'm going to start dropping it onto the tray. And this is why it's called drop, because this is all you do. It's like when you bake cookies, you make drop chocolate chips. So it's kind of like that in a way. Now what I like to do, if you want really small ones, you can use a teaspoon and have little mini biscuits. But I generally use this tablespoon to get them in there. And this recipe, you get 2 to 3 dozen. They are so good. And I really enjoy them. Now I've got almost a dozen on this cookie sheet. I'll throw it in the oven and set the timer, get the other cookie sheet done, and then we will come back and show you the result. So see you in about 25 minutes, guys. And here is the second batch I'm getting together. And I told you wrong when I put the first batch in. It's actually 12 minutes, not 25. If I did 25, they'd probably be burnt up. So I'm getting my second tray ready. And this will be 24 of them. I think I've got enough to do about 2 more dozen, so I'd get 4 out of this mix. Like I said, it's been 8 or 9 years since I made these. But I never forget how to do it. It's, with me, recipes are just like second nature when I cook. So, we will see how this comes out. Okay, wipe the dough off my finger. As you can see, this is the second pan going in. 10 to 12 minutes at 425 degrees. So I'll be back in a few. So guys, as you can see, I've got 2 dozen on my cooling rack. I've got another dozen in the oven, and I've got a half a dozen more dough that I can bake. So I'll be back in the next video where I'm going to make my fried chicken salad, which is what I use these for. And so I hope you try this recipe. It'll be down in the link. Please be sure and leave me a comment, like, and subscribe, and hit the bell if you want notifications of new videos. So see you in another video. Bye.